This video is sponsored by nobody. Nobody sponsors these videos, unfortunately. At least not yet. Anybody that wants me to do a paid promotion for their videos, go ahead and hit me up. Call me anytime. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. What I am here to talk about is what I usually do at the end of the videos. You see, we are about a little over 40 people away from hitting 4,000 subscribers, which is pretty good for our channel, considering that we've been on this slow grow over the last couple of years. But it's a step in the right direction. But if you do really like these videos and you want to see more of them, any of these videos on our channel in particular, please go ahead, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and also hit the notification button. And also do the same thing over on our other channel, the Reviewing Network Live, which is also slowly growing as time goes on. Do the same thing over there. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button if you can. So, just wanted to get that out of the way since we're that close to 4,000. We're currently at 3,959 as of the day I'm recording this, which is September 10th, at about near 11 o'clock at night. So please, like I said, like, subscribe, hit the notification button if you want to see more videos, and also give this video a thumbs up if you want to. So, with that said, on with the show. It's another edition of Time About the Movies, and today we're taking a look at the two films of July 8th, 2005. And on today's show, we have the Fantastic Four making their official big screen debut. Of course, they had a movie in 1994 that was completed, but never released. And we finally get to see them on the big screen. How does it fare out? We'll talk about that one, and we'll also talk about Jennifer Connelly starring in the horror film Where Water is Trying to Kill Her. I think that pretty much should tell you everything about that movie in particular, but we'll get to that one in a little bit. Let's talk about the biggest new release of the weekend, which is Fantastic Four.
You know that looked cool.
Yeah, that may have looked cool. The movie, not so much. But at least it was better than the 94 movie, and I guess it's still the best Fantastic Four film we have. But then again, like I said at the end of the last show, Fantastic Four, the reboot from Marvel Studios, comes out next year, so likely it won't be that for too much longer. But was this movie worth it? Well, we have the story of Reed Richards, played by Ewan Grufford, who's a brilliant but timid and bankrupt scientist who's convinced that evolution can be triggered by clouds of cosmic energy, and has calculated that Earth is going to pass one of these clouds soon. Together with his friend and partner, the gruff yet gentle astronaut muscleman Ben Grimm, played by Michael Chiklis, Reed convinces his conceited MIT classmate Dr. Victor Von Doom, played by Julian McMahon, now CEO of his own enterprise, to allow him access to his privately owned space station. Von Doom agrees in exchange for control over the experiment and a majority of the profits for whatever benefits it brings. He thus brings along Sue Storm, played by Jessica Alba, her shy, though assertive chief genetics researcher and a former lover of Reed's, whom she had an acrimonious breakup, and her diametrically opposed brother Johnny, played by Chris Evans, the maverick and hot-headed playboy pilot. The astronauts make it home intact, however, before long they begin to mutate, developing strange and amazing powers as a result of their exposure to the cloud. A lot of people really hate this movie. It's considered by many as one of Marvel's worst movies in general, but again, I wrote this review that I'm telling you about before we got the Fan-4-Stick movie, and yeah, that movie takes the cake right now. You know, people like the late RMAC21, you know, he did a video on his DVD collection and said this was one of those movies that made him almost give up on superhero movies because of how bad it really was, but I mean, I don't know. I don't think it was really that bad at all. I don't love it. I just think it's kind of forgettable. I mean, it's a movie where the biggest problem is that it gets way too cartoonish and comedic for its own good. When you look at the X-Men, Spider-Man, or even the Iron Man movies, they have funny moments, but at the same time, they balance out the comedy and the action so that they don't steer away into one or the other. Here's just going for some comedy and some really, really bad comedy, like 2.5 Men style comedy, where you're just waiting for a laugh track to appear so you know when to laugh, even when what's on screen is not really funny at all. The casting overall is a very mixed bag. Ian Grufford and Jessica Alba are just so bland and uninspired as Reed and Sue. They bring absolutely nothing to the roles at all, except Jessica Alba's Sue's story, because, you know, there's got to be a scene where she's got to get naked and take her clothes off because she can be invisible, and then the invisibility's got to wear off. Look, she's naked. PG-13. Like, that's the only reason that she's in this movie, pretty much. In the second film, too, because they do it in that. And that got a PG rating, too, which is baffling to me. But, and Julian McMahon playing Von Doom, he's a lame superhero who really has no evil plan on him, just to destroy the Fantastic Four. Like, at least Willem Dafoe's Norman Osborn in the Spider-Man movies was completely over the top, and the fact that Dafoe's over-the-top performance made it somewhat watchable. At least he was trying. Doom in this movie is so lazily done, and so Saturday morning cartoonish. You can't take this guy seriously at all. And with a name like Von Doom, you pretty much have set his future up in the long run. Like, I don't think I'm going to go to a bakery and see something called Von Doom's Bakery and be like, yeah, this seems on the nose. I'll go inside and see what he's got in there. Some diabolical shit's going on in there. But, on the plus side, I thought Chris Evans and Michael Chiklis were the best things in the movie. Johnny Storm and The Thing. You know, the chemistry the two have with them actually worked. Both of them really understood what characters they were playing and have fun in those roles, which is more than I could say for everyone else in the movie. I mean, I like that Michael Chiklis is there as the Thing. It's pretty much a practical costume, but it still works. You know, Chris Evans, of course, would later go on to become a much better-known superhero in Captain America, but he even got a reprieve recently in Deadpool and Wolverine, which just came out not too long ago as I'm recording this. But I also think the problem with this comes in the director, too. This is Tim Story, who directed stuff like Barbershop, Think Like a Man, and Taxi. We just looked at that movie not too long ago. He had never directed an action movie before this came out. He had no real reason to tackle a big action movie like this until he was more experienced. I mean, I'm also willing to bet he never read a Fantastic Four comic before, much like kind of how Tim Burton never read a comic before directing Batman. Like, put it this way. I think he put more effort into making the Tom and Jerry movie, the fun film that was, than making this movie. I mean, that should tell you something right there, that he puts more effort in Tom and Jerry than he does in Fantastic Four. That's pretty much that tells you everything you need to know. Like, the action sequences, I think, are nicely done. The final fight scene, though, pretty disappointing when you really think about it. The CG effects are pretty bad. I mean, like, you look at it nowadays, and it's just like, yeah, this does not hold up well at all. The music literally feels like they were taking the score from Lethal Weapon in some spots, especially in the theme for the Fantastic Four. It's just like, why of all things you got to rip off Lethal Weapon of all things? And there's a really lame, tacked-on end scene in the credits, like one of the cheapest ploys for a sequel ever, because we can't really kill Doctor Doom. I mean, why would we want to do that? Because, like, he's the main bad guy for the Fantastic Four. Like, okay, well, I'm sure the Fantastic Four have other villains they could face besides Von Doom, and the way they do it in this is just so lazy. This really could have been an epic movie had they gotten the right director who knew how to make this work, like what Sam Raimi and Bryan Singer did with Spider-Man and X-Men, but here they don't even try. Only a few of the actors actually do a good job here, while everyone else is kind of half-assing it and not giving it crap whatsoever. It tried way too hard to be more comedic than action-packed. It's lazily done. The villain's pretty lame. It's a forgettable movie. And nevertheless, it was a big hit. I mean, it did eventually lead to a sequel that came out a couple years later, so the hope is that they could build a better product on that, right? Well, we'll eventually get to that one, but like I said, you know, I've got a lot of hope now for the Matt Shankman movie coming out next year. It seems like the casting is pretty good. The idea that it's going to be a period piece seems like a ton of fun, because that director, Peyton Reed, Peyton Reed was the person who was originally going to direct it, but, you know, a period piece 60s Fantastic Four movie sounds like a really cool idea, and this is the same director that did WandaVision, so I'm very highly optimistic to see this movie work, and hopefully it will work in general. Robert Downey Jr. as Von Doom, though, interesting. I'm not going to be one of those people that say it's a bad idea because Robert Downey Jr. is a terrific actor, but that just feels like weird casting to me. I'm going to give it a chance, but I gotta think it's gotta be better than any of the movies we've gotten before that comes out. One would think, but we will see when that comes out next year. But Fantastic Four, just meh. Yeah, just meh. So let's go ahead and take a look at the last movie we have here, and that is Jennifer Connelly, also John C. Reilly, in the horror film Dark Water.
I think we picked the perfect place to live. Just perfect. We have so much unpacking to do.
You're gonna love it up here. We're 2 blocks from the school, which is one of the best in the city. Wait, sweetie, don't run, don't run. Get stuck in here, huh?
What, Mommy? I'm gonna reach the ceiling.
What is that? There's a leak in my bedroom ceiling. I can hear that there's someone running water upstairs.
Did you say upstairs? There hasn't been anyone up there for years.
Someone went into the elevator and the buttons are burnt off.
Why was the door open?
It was locked. Someone else opened it.
Hello?
Down the beach, he went to spider, but up the spider again.
Yeah, I think you could see the major problem with the movie right from the get-go. Yeah, it's hard to make water scary. I'm sorry, it's never gonna happen. There was a movie that came out in the 90s with Pierce Brosnan. It was like a terrorist thriller where terrorists tried to use water that had explosive things in it, that explosive water to make it look scary. Water will never be scary. No matter how hard you try, it will not be scary. But this movie says, "Oh yeah, motherfucker," and yeah, they didn't do it. But in this movie, Jennifer Connelly and her daughter in this move into a rundown apartment on New York's Roosevelt Island. She's currently in the midst of a divorce proceedings, and the apartment, though near an excellent school for her daughter, is all she can afford. From the time she arrives, there are mysterious occurrences, and there's a constant drip from the ceiling in the only bedroom. There's also noises coming from the apartment directly above her, as though it would appear to be vacant. Is the apartment haunted, or is there a simpler explanation? The simpler explanation is that this is a lazily put together horror movie. I don't care if you got to put the thing from the author of The Ring, but no, The Ring was a scary movie. This was not. This is a lazily put together movie. You won't believe who directed this. The director who did the Motorcycle Diaries before this. They got that director to do this, Walter Sales, and man, this just didn't work. This is a really, really bad movie. Like, all the cliches are in here. The atmosphere might be there, but there's no good scares to really save it. Like, this is a movie that's just so boring, so pretentious, so lazy. Like, you can't even get scared by it because you're just so bored by it. It's just like, come on, get to the point already. It's just like, it's not worth it in the end. And the movie just, these people are way too good to me in this movie. Jennifer Connelly, John C. Reilly, Tim Roth, Pete Postlethwaite, Cameron Manheim, Dougray Scott. All great talents who could be in a better movie than this. They are in better movies than this. And you can just tell where it's going right from the get-go. It's not scary whatsoever. It's a lazy film. Like, yeah, it's got the atmosphere, but unfortunately, if there's no payoff, then it's not worth it. It really is not worth it in the end. And yeah, this definitely isn't worth it whatsoever. And it's just like, it's a bad movie. It's a really, really bad film. Not much more to say about it, but yeah, water isn't scary. I'm sorry, water isn't scary whatsoever. This is not scary. I know this is Diet Pepsi, but just pretend it's water, okay? It's not... It's such a bad joke, I'm coughing it out of me. But the point I'm trying to make here is that water is not scary. So, yeah. That's pretty much all I got to say about that one. Dark Water. And so with that said, we wrap up another edition of Time About the Movies. And the next time we meet, we'll take a look at 2 more movies, including Tim Burton's version of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, starring Johnny Depp as Michael Jackson. I'm sorry, Willy Wonka. Let's get that out of the way now, because we're going to be talking about how Johnny Depp looks like Michael Jackson in this. But we'll get into that one. But is it as bad as you would think? Actually, you might be kind of surprised by it, but we'll take a look at that. We'll also take a look at Owen Wilson and Vince Vaughn in the R-rated comedy hit Wedding Crashers. We'll take a look at those 2 big new releases on the next episode. That'll be tomorrow. But until then, thank you so much for watching. And if you want to see more videos like this, please hit the place on the next page. Check out the previous episode. And also, don't forget to hit the like, subscribe button, and the notification bell. Since I made that video in the beginning, the last couple of days, we've actually seen... our subscriber count go up a little bit. We're closing in on 4,000. We're right near about 20 people away from 4,000. So if you could please hit the like, subscribe, and notification button, it'll help us get there, and I can stop putting that intro in the beginning there, and I won't bother you about that again until we need to get to 5,000 subscribers. I will say that. But coming up a little bit later tonight on Time About the Movies Flashback, we're flashing back to December of 1987, December 11th to be exact, with 4 movies on there, looking back in 87, including Danny DeVito and Billy Crystal in Throw Mama from the Train, Michael Douglas, Charlie Sheen, and Daryl Hannah in Oliver Stone's classic Wall Street, Steven Spielberg's Empire of the Sun featuring a young Christian Bale, and also Cold Steel. We'll take a look at those 4 movies on Time About the Movies Flashback, which will be coming up next right after I post this up. So stick around. We will be right back.